Let's get an update on the ground now in relation to the EFF shutdown and EFF members gathering at Church Square. This is in Pretoria at this hour, and let's go to the capital now. That's where we find Govin Whittles. Govin, good morning to you. I suppose that's where this strike or this protest march, shutdown, call it what you will, but that's the epicenter, and that is where presumably the EFF leadership is going to be addressing. How are things looking there?
Good morning, Oli. Things are picking up here in terms of members of the EFF, supporters of the EFF, even members and supporters of SAFTU, and more recently we've seen a group of people wearing UDM t-shirts starting to arrive. This might be the place where Julius Malema addresses the EFF members and supporters, but he had promised that they're going to the union buildings, that they would call on the president to resign. That's the point of this shutdown. They said it's not a march, that it's a protest, a spontaneous one at that, that'll pop up everywhere in the country. Instead, what we've seen is business as usual around the city center, and a call made by Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, senior leader of the EFF, for EFF members and supporters to gather here at Church Square in Pretoria. It's unclear if this is a gathering point, whether they'll still go to the union buildings. The EFF's national spokesperson, Sinao Tambo, says that still remains a possibility. For now, they're not committing to go there. Only we were at the union buildings a short while ago. The police are there, clearly ready to receive them. There's a massive deployment there, which includes the SANDF. But for now, what we're seeing here in Church Square is more and more EFF members arriving. They're not being bussed in by the EFF. Looks like they're taking their own transport here, which does seem to have the characteristics of a spontaneous protest. But they're not the only organization supporting this national shutdown. One of the groups that's supporting it, an organization, a trade union federation, is SAFTU, the South African Trade Union Federation, and we're joined by their spokesperson, Trevor Shaku. Let's get a quick sense of SAFTU's role here. Trevor, thank you so much for your time. Just tell us which affiliates are taking part in the shutdown.
There are quite a number of affiliates, which I've seen here now. It's Thorn, Kiwusa, APSA, and some comrades from NUMSA, and I've also seen FAU, and I'm hoping that other affiliates would be arriving in a moment.
Have those affiliates written to SAFTU to confirm that they will be attending, and do you have such an official confirmation from NUMSA?
No affiliate has written to SAFTU for an official confirmation. What they've done is that they've released posters, but also because they were part of the NEC decision, or the NEC that took the decision to participate in this national shutdown. We are expecting no letter when we're not expecting any letter. By that decision, we thought that they were bound to abide by its implementation and all of that.
So what's SAFTU's role in the national shutdown? What do you make of the way that it started, the clear failure to bring South Africa to a standstill?
Can you repeat that?
What do you make of the clear failure to bring South Africa to a standstill?
For us, it's not a clear failure. What we see is shops that are closed across the city of Tshwane in particular, but also we've seen people rising in different towns, rural areas, villages, and all of that. And what this for us means is that in the previous shutdowns which we have attempted in the past, we actually did not receive this much response. So for us, it's a matter of a rising consciousness with each and every shutdown which we call. And we hope that even in the future, there's going to be a further response even beyond what we see today. But this, in my view, is an overwhelming response, and by implication also means, to a certain extent, an overwhelming success of this particular shutdown.
Well, you're right. There are parts of the country which have been brought to a standstill, maybe not the entire country. Briefly, will this be a march to the union buildings?
The decisions and the plans were that we may have to go to the union buildings, but the organizers will have to come to us and confirm whether we are still proceeding to the union building or not. But that was the initial plan.
All right, thank you so much. Trevor Shaku is the national spokesperson for SAFTU, only speaking to us here at Church Square. We'll give it back to you. I'll keep a close eye on what's happening behind me and let the viewers know as soon as there's some movement here, whether or not everything will conclude here or whether we're going to the seat of the presidency where the EFF and the organization supporting it hope to demand for the president to resign.
Govan Whittles, thank you very much at Church Square there. Well, let's take you to Atteridgeville. As you can see on your screen, our colleagues fanning out, and that's to the west of Pretoria, where EFF members are demonstrating. And let's speak now to Tondani Takalani. He is one of our reporters here. Tondani, good morning to you. Govan says, well, you know, shops are closed here and there, but there is, he uses the word failure to shut down the country. Do you see the same from your end?
Away from where Govan Whittles is in the city center, and things have been slightly different here. You'll notice behind me some rubble and rocks that have been used to block this particular street, obviously barring evidence of the actions that took place here overnight. You know, obviously EFF members protesting as part of those wider protests by the economic freedom fighters, resolute on their call for the President Cyril Ramaphosa to resign, among other demands. Now, I must point out, though, that this seems to have been concentrated largely to this specific part of Atteridgeville. I understand this is Region 3 of the Tshwane branches here in Pretoria. Elsewhere, as we came into the township, we noticed that things seem to be fairly normal. There was a large police presence, especially at shopping complexes, which are, I must point out, open under that police watch, obviously as part of precautions to avoid any incidents of looting and whatnot. A short moment ago, we did notice, about 5 buses, ferrying EFF members to where Govan Whittles is in the city center, which we now can confirm to be, quote-unquote, ground zero for their protest, which, they do not want to confirm whether or not they will be going to the seat of the president there at the union buildings. Now, there have been growing concerns of incidents of violence, which are not unwarranted. Let me quickly cast your mind back to 2016, when the EFF on the 2nd of November led that protest march from that specific point towards the union buildings. That protest ended up being very violent, with shops there, being looted by EFF members who had been at the time calling for then President Jacob Zuma to resign. So it remains to be seen what will come out of this protest today in the capital city. But all these members who had been gathered here are leading to the city center, as it were. Toli.
Thank you very much, our reporter Tondani Takalani, live for us in Atteridgeville there. Well, let's take you to KZN. Karinda Jagmohan is in the area of Glenwood. This is in Durban, where dozens of EFF members have gathered. Karinda, good morning to you. What's the situation where you are?
Explaining to everyone that this is a peaceful protest.
Good morning, Oli. Well, a number of EFF members have gathered. My colleague Gifton Kosi will give you an overview of the number of people that have gathered outside the EFF offices in Glenwood. And just now, the EFF chairperson in KZN, Mr. Nobuhle Modise, is addressing the members. They say they're about to go out to the places they've identified to protest. And what's more is that EFF SG Marshal Dlamini is going to come here as well. Take a quick listen to what is actually telling members right now.
Absolutely nothing is going to move today. This bloodthirsty, shooter bias, police and private security guards, they are charged to eliminate you fighters. You must defend yourselves. You must defend yourselves, fighters. The court has ruled that it is within our democratic right to stage any picket or a protest in the country. But the DF, Malan and PW board a generation with those, the puppets of the ANC, they are ready to eliminate everyone who's fighting for a just cause. Our people are living in dire and deplorable conditions. Asakwazi comrades ukuphula if the conditions abantu abaphila ngaphansi kwawo are not favorable to a black child. We're ready, comrades, until midnight. We're going full force. We are going full force. We are going full force. Asijigi. Namusha inamusha. Kungabili. It's either this police must protect her. Actually, the criminals attack her. When we are fighting for a black child, the dejected masses of our society, the downtrodden, oh, we're going to respond. We're going to Phoenix, comrades. That Phoenix belongs to us. There's no corner of a penguin that we're not going to visit. We are everywhere. We are coming in numbers and we are charged and agitated. Fighters, wherever you are, protect our females. Males, Azish, Fasi Pulsi fight. Fasi Pulsi fight. Let's protect our young ones, our females.
All right, we are going to step away from that